Rain soaked the city like grief that refused to end. Every morning, at exactly 7:12 a.m., a young woman stepped off the same overcrowded bus with worn shoes, a faded handbag, and tired eyes that carried more pain than most people noticed. She always walked quickly, head lowered, as if trying to disappear before the world could judge her. But someone had been watching her for months from behind the tinted glass of a black luxury car parked across the street. And on one ordinary morning, everything changed. The millionaire inside that car finally opened the door, stepped out into the rain, and stopped her with words that would change both of their lives forever. Before we begin this emotional story, if you believe kindness can change lives and that everyone deserves a second chance, please like this video, comment below, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to the channel for more heart-touching stories. Her name was Anna. At 26, life had already taken more from her than most people lose in a lifetime. 3 years earlier, she had dreams, small but meaningful dreams. She wanted to become a nurse. She wanted to buy her mother a house with sunlight in every room. She wanted a life where bills didn't arrive like threats. But dreams are fragile when poverty keeps knocking. Her father had died suddenly from a stroke. The hospital demanded payments they couldn't afford. Debt swallowed the family. Her mother's health declined under the weight of grief and untreated diabetes. Anna dropped out of nursing school in her final year to work full-time. She never complained. She woke before dawn every day in a cramped one-room apartment on the edge of the city. She cooked soft porridge for her mother, checked her blood sugar, gave her medicine, cleaned the room, and then rushed to catch the old bus into downtown. The bus ride took nearly 90 minutes. Sometimes she stood the entire journey because there were no seats. Sometimes rude passengers shoved her. Sometimes the driver refused to wait if she was even a second late. Still, she kept going. She worked as a cleaner in one of the most expensive corporate towers in the city, a building made of glass, steel, and wealth. People in suits entered with polished shoes and expensive watches. They barely noticed the girl mopping floors before sunrise. But one person noticed. Adrian Vale. At 38, Adrian was one of the youngest self-made millionaires in the city. He built a logistics empire from nothing and became famous for his ruthless discipline. Business magazines called him brilliant. Rivals called him cold. Employees feared him. His schedule never changed. Every morning, his driver dropped him outside the tower around 7:05 a.m. Every morning, he sat in the back seat for a few minutes, reviewing reports before entering. That was when he first saw her. Anna stepped off the bus with her hair slightly messy from the crowded ride, clutching her worn bag like it contained her entire life. She looked exhausted. But what caught Adrian's attention wasn't her poverty. It was what she did next. An elderly street vendor sat near the bus stop every morning selling tea and bread. Business was slow, and some days the old man clearly hadn't eaten. Without fail, Anna bought one piece of bread. And then she gave half of it to him. Every single day. Even when she clearly had almost nothing herself. Adrian watched this ritual in silence. Day after day. Week after week. He found himself looking for her. At first, he didn't understand why. Then something uncomfortable happened. She reminded him of someone. His mother. Years ago, before wealth, before power, before penthouses and boardrooms, Adrian's mother had taken buses too. She worked 2 jobs. She skipped meals so her son could eat. She smiled through exhaustion. She died before seeing him become successful. He still carried that guilt. And somehow, this young woman walking from a bus toward his building stirred emotions he had buried for years. Still, Adrian said nothing. Until the day everything went wrong. It began with an accusation. A luxury diamond bracelet disappeared from the office of Vanessa Reed, a wealthy investor visiting the building. Panic spread quickly. Security reviewed footage. Staff were questioned. Someone claimed they saw Aina cleaning near the office. That was enough. She was immediately suspected. No proof. No evidence. Just suspicion. Because poor people are easy to blame. Aina stood trembling as managers questioned her. She denied everything. She had never stolen anything in her life. But no one wanted to listen. Vanessa was furious. She demanded immediate action. Security searched Aina's bag. Inside were simple things. An old wallet. Bus card. Medicine for her mother. And a small cloth pouch. The guard opened it. Inside was a bracelet. The room went silent. Aina froze. Her face drained of color. It looked exactly like Vanessa's missing bracelet. She stared at it as if seeing a nightmare. It wasn't hers. She had never seen it before. Someone had planted it. But who would believe her? Vanessa exploded with anger. Management fired Aina on the spot and threatened police involvement. She broke down. Not because of humiliation. Not even because of losing her job. But because she thought of her mother. No job meant no medicine. No medicine meant. She couldn't finish the thought. Crying, she left the building carrying everything she owned. That morning, Adrian arrived later than usual due to a delayed call. He noticed something strange. Aina was outside. Not walking toward the building. Walking away. And crying. He stepped out of the car. For the first time in months, he approached her. Rain fell harder. She kept walking. Then he said the words that stopped her. "I know you didn't do it." Aina turned. Shock filled her face. How could this stranger know? Adrian looked directly at her. He told her he had seen something on his private dashcam. His car had recorded the entrance area every morning. Earlier that day, he reviewed footage while waiting. He noticed another cleaner approaching Aina's locker before the accusation. The woman looked around nervously. Then slipped something into Aina's bag. Adrian had already sent the footage to security. The real thief would be exposed within minutes. Aina couldn't process what she was hearing. Relief collided with disbelief. Then came a dangerous emotion. Hope. She burst into tears. Not quiet tears. The kind that come after carrying too much for too long. Her knees nearly gave out. Adrian caught her before she fell. For a moment, the millionaire everyone feared stood in the rain holding a trembling woman who had almost lost everything because no one bothered to seek truth. Within the hour, security confirmed everything. The real thief was another employee drowning in gambling debt. She had stolen the bracelet and framed Aina. Management panicked. They begged forgiveness. Vanessa apologized awkwardly. The company offered Aina her job back immediately. Everyone expected her to accept. She didn't. She quietly said no. Because something had broken inside her. Trust. She had given that building years of loyalty. Yet when accusation came, no one defended her. No one asked questions. No one believed her. Except one stranger. Adrian. That should have been the end. But it wasn't. Because as Aina turned to leave, Adrian noticed something. She swayed slightly. Weak. Exhausted. Too thin. He asked if she had eaten. She hesitated. That silence told him everything. He insisted she sit. For the first time in years, Aina entered a luxury cafe she could never afford. She sat stiffly, embarrassed by the polished tables and expensive decor. Adrian ordered breakfast. When food arrived, Aina tried to eat slowly. But hunger exposed truth. She hadn't eaten properly in days. Adrian said little. He simply watched. Not with pity. With understanding. Eventually he asked about her life. At first, she resisted. Then the words came. Her father. Her mother. The debt. Dropping out of nursing school. Working non-stop. Taking buses. Choosing medicine over meals. Adrian listened in silence. Every detail hit him harder than expected. Because buried inside her story was his own past. Different circumstances. Same hunger. Same sacrifice. Same mother. When she finished, she apologized for oversharing. Adrian shook his head. No. He wasn't burdened. He was moved. That night, Adrian couldn't sleep. He stared at city lights from his penthouse and thought about buses. About sacrifice. About his mother. About Aina giving half her breakfast to an old vendor while she herself starved. Something inside him shifted. For years, success had become numbers. Profit. Growth. Acquisition. But somewhere, he had become emotionally numb. Aina cracked that shell. The next morning, Aina boarded her usual bus. She expected another exhausting day of job searching. Instead, when the bus stopped at her station, she froze. Adrian was waiting. Not in the car. Standing beside it. Rain had stopped. Morning sunlight touched the street. He looked strangely nervous. Millionaires rarely feel nervous. But Adrian did. Because this mattered. As she approached, he said something unexpected. He told her he had spent months watching her arrive by bus. Aina's eyes widened. He quickly clarified. Not in a creepy way. He simply noticed her routine. Her kindness. Her discipline. Her resilience. He told her about the bread she shared with the vendor. He told her that she reminded him of someone he lost. Then he said the words that changed everything. He asked if she would return to nursing school. Aina stared. Confused. He continued. He said he wanted to sponsor her education completely. Tuition. Books. Transport. Everything. No loans. No conditions. No traps. Just one requirement. That someday, when life allowed, she helped someone else the way she had helped that old vendor. Aina stopped breathing for a second. This couldn't be real. People like Adrian existed in magazines. Not in real life. Not in her life. She asked why. Why help her? Adrian looked toward the bus stop. The same place where he watched her every day. Then he answered. Because the world nearly destroyed someone good simply because she looked powerless. And because kindness should never go unnoticed. Aina cried again. But this time, the tears felt different. Not despair. Relief. Hope. Healing. Months passed. Then years. Aina returned to school. It wasn't easy. She worked harder than anyone. Long nights. Exams. Clinical rotations. Taking care of her mother. Every challenge felt impossible until she remembered where she came from. Adrian remained in the background. Never controlling. Never demanding gratitude. Just supporting. Sometimes checking in. Sometimes sending resources. Slowly, an unexpected friendship formed. Then trust. Then something deeper neither of them wanted to name too quickly. Adrian changed too. Employees noticed. He became kinder. More human. He started scholarship programs for working students. Healthcare assistance for low-income employees. Emergency support funds. The ruthless millionaire developed a heart people had forgotten he possessed. And everyone wondered why. Only he knew. One woman arriving by bus had reminded him what success was supposed to mean. Years later, the moment came. Aina graduated. Top of her class. She stood on stage in a white nursing uniform with tears in her eyes as her name was called. In the audience sat her mother, crying openly. And beside her sat Adrian. Proud. Quiet. Emotional in ways he rarely showed. Aina held her certificate with trembling hands. She had done it. The dream she buried was alive. Before we reach the ending, if this story has touched your heart even a little, please like this video, share it, and subscribe. Your support helps bring more meaningful stories to life. And a special request, comment below with one word, kindness, if you believe even a small act can change someone's entire future. A year later, Aina worked as a registered nurse in a public hospital. One exhausting evening, an elderly man arrived in critical condition.